Hey everyone, Paul Meshanko here. I'm the founder of Legacy Business Cultures and the author of The Respect Effect, using the science of neuroleadership to inspire a more loyal and productive workplace. What we're going to be doing today is launching the first of a multi-part video series talking about something I wrote about in my book called The 12 Rules of Respect. The 12 Rules of Respect are basically guidelines that, if we follow, not only help us at the individual level by creating a more respectful, inclusive environment with those that we communicate, but this then has the secondary and then tertiary effects of not only increasing the level of respect that we feel, but the efficiency with which we get work done, and even more importantly than that, the sense of inclusion and overall respect and engagement that we can actually enjoy as a workplace together. All right, so the first of the 12 rules that we're going to be talking about is be aware of your nonverbal and extraverbal cues when you're communicating with each other. Why is that important? Well, let's think a little bit about the whole communication process between individuals. It turns out that language is a relatively new addition to the human toolkit. We've only actually had the spoken word for somewhere, we're going to guesstimate, between 18 to 25,000 years. But of course, we've been evolving for a lot longer than that. So how did we actually communicate before we had language? Well, we did it just like this, with expressions and gestures and things of that nature. And the reason that that's significant is because nonverbal communication and extraverbal communication is a much older and more difficult to fake way of communicating what's going on up here to you. All right. And so if there's ever a disconnect between what my words are actually saying and the rest of my body is communicating, then that causes confusion and maybe even disbelief with the person on the receiving end of my communications. So let's talk about the right way and maybe the wrong way of using this concept. Let's just say that I was going to give somebody a compliment. Connie, one of my coworkers, stayed late to get a project done last night, and I want to let her know that. So I stop at her office, I poke my head in her office and say, "Hey Connie, by the way, thank you so very much for sticking around late to get that project done. It not only helped me and the rest of the team out, but it actually made the rest of our company look pretty good in the process. Way to go, keep up the fabulous work." Now, if you were Connie, how would that feel? My guess is that it would feel pretty good. Compare this to what I call the flyby or drive-by compliment. I come walking past her office, "Hey, Connie, keep up the good work, great job." I think we've all experienced that and know that that seems a little bit shallow, and maybe as if giving a compliment was not the first thing on the top of my mind at that moment, right? So just recognize this. One of the best ways to keep synchronicity between our nonverbal extraverbals and what our actual words are is just being more fully present. When we're actually talking with people, stop and be fully present so that our entire body is there for them to experience, not necessarily just the words in our communication, right? Also, there's a couple of things in general that we should probably stay clear of from a nonverbal and extraverbal standpoint, especially at the workplace. One of them is the eye roll, and I know some of you are really good at it. I've been probably pretty good at it myself, especially when I'm with my kids. But the eye roll or the sigh when somebody else is sharing their opinion, or maybe it's the closed arms and refusal to make eye contact. All of those things are very, very powerful communicators. And what they say is we're really not fully participating in the conversation. So at any rate, keep your nonverbals and extraverbals in sync with the actual language, and you will be in great shape. Again, I'm Paul Meshanko, and if there's anything that either I or my colleagues at Legacy Business Cultures can do to help you or your organization create a more respectful, inclusive workplace, give us a phone call, and we'll see what we can do to help.